All right, Stags, congratulations on getting the 5 strikeouts tonight, striking out 5 of the 9 batters you faced. What was it like just getting it on the mound as a reliever this game?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just getting out back there and competing. Obviously, been pitching over the last week and a half, so just getting out there, trusting my stuff against these guys and, pitching with confidence.
It's been over a year since you were a relief pitcher, so how was it like to be back on the mound in that role?
It's a little different. Obviously, the preparation for it's a little different. You got to be ready every single day out of the bullpen. You never know when your name's going to be called, so that's the biggest thing. But, the job's always the same. It's getting batters out, so it's the biggest thing.
How do you turn the page? Because, the season might not be going the way you wanted it to. So how do you kind of turn the page going into the night as you kind of try to work your way back?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, treating every game as its own. Obviously, it's kind of hard to fake confidence out there. Every game, you got to think it's a new opportunity, and every single time you get a new opportunity, you got to seize it. So that's the biggest thing, is not really thinking about the last, but making sure that, every day is a new day.
Some of the pitching struggles that have happened recently, what's the conversation like with Coach Wallace and DT?
The conversations are kind of just about competing out there. It's about trusting your stuff, obviously in the zone, trying to execute each pitch that we get called, and that's the biggest thing. Is I feel like we weren't doing as good of a job lately, and it's our job to throw the pitches that are called and execute them to our best ability and compete. So I think it's the biggest thing.
In 3 innings tonight, you strike out more than half the batters you faced, and also you no hit outing. Was there anything that felt different today as opposed to any of your other starts?
No, I think it kind of all felt the same. I think it's just a matter of taking it up another notch, mentally. I think it's seeing the job at hand and trying to finish the job. It's a little different as a closer compared to starter. So this time, you got to close instead of start it.
What was the difference between the Big 12 hitters you saw last season versus Big 12 hitters this season?
I think, in both years, they're both very good. I think this year, I think these hitters are just, gotten us early, and that's the biggest thing. I think we got to do a good job of making adjustments as we have. I think this last series we did a lot better job against K-State, making adjustments and pitching to ourselves, not getting out of our what we do to succeed. So that's the biggest thing.
You speak on mentality. Do you have like a pregame ritual that you do? How do you get in the right mindset?
Honestly, for me, I enjoy just having fun with the guys. I don't really try to lock in, especially now as the bullpen. You can't really lock in, before the game as much, obviously, because you're gonna have to be ready to go in the 5th through 9th inning, not so much the first 4. So for me, it's just a matter of staying calm, staying relaxed, nothing super, specific.
You had Tim Foskett out there with the first pitch, the pitch played for UCF back in the early 80s. And I don't know if Rich Wallace got a chance to tell you about him or not, but what was it like to see him with the first pitch and see all of the other, honorees from UCF history you've seen the past few weeks?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was one thing, hiring Wallace, it was that a lot of the old guys are going to come back around, serve us as, because they really want to and they want to see this program go farther. So I think it's the biggest thing, is seeing those guys, be around, and it just motivates us to play for the logo on front, not so much the name on the back.
What are you seeing from Siegel out there today?
Yeah, I think he competed his butt off. I can't curse, in interviews, but I think he was a dog out there, and that's what he does. I think when he does that, he succeeds, so that's the biggest thing.
Do you believe that the pitching staff is heading in the right direction?
I believe so. I think, where we were, it wasn't us at all, and I think, you can't really go farther than down. You can only go up, so I think we've kind of turned the page a little bit and are, making the right adjustments.
What was it like to see Russell Sandefur get his first start over the weekend? Yeah,
it was pretty cool. Obviously, he was a bullpen guy all year, and I know he started a little bit last year at the D2 level, but it was pretty cool to see it, from the bullpen. And we hope that every starter that goes out there, especially Cam, Russell, no matter who it is, that they're going to go out there and succeed, and they've shown it. So we know their abilities.
What does this team need to do in order to get back in the win column in terms of winning Big 12 series? You welcome the number 15 team in the country this weekend.
I think the biggest thing is just playing together. I think, when we play together as a team and all 3 facets of the game are going well, we're kind of hard to beat, I'd say. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting back to our game and playing as one family.
How does this team kind of keep that positive mindset through kind of the ups and downs?
Yeah, I think it's definitely tough. Obviously, when you start losing some games, there's some doubt that comes into the facility, and you kind of block out the noise. And I think the biggest thing is that staying together, trusting the guys for the left and the right, and just knowing that the job at hand, and try to accomplish it to the best of your abilities.
That's good.
Awesome. Thanks, Dom.
Thank you, guys.